Hello and welcome everyone to Immigration Talk Show. I'm Nipasa, your host, and this is my co-host Sam, and we both welcome you to Daily Immigration Dose. Thank you so much, each one of you, for joining us. And yes, we got a very important discussion lined up on a very important topic. It's the latest one, so stay tuned. But before we head on to that, I have this very important disclaimer, and that is by watching our videos, you understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not professional advice. Use at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas. So, that said, friends, thank you so much once again, each one of you, for joining us here on Immigration Talk Show. If you haven't as yet subscribed, subscribe now. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. And Sam, I'm so excited and good to see you, by the way, today as well.
Thank you so much, Nipasa. And same here. I'm also very excited for this topic. And it's a very latest one, again, a very hot topic and a very sweeping one. So thank you so much, everyone. First of all, for joining us. Don't forget that we are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and also on X. Do join us from whichever platform suits you. And don't forget to follow us on different platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and on Instagram as well. And also participate in this webinar by dialing up this number that is 425 4366335 with the access code 988888. And do let us know what you think about this topic. As today we are talking about could you face a permanent US travel ban? What the embassy's new warning means for travelers. So it's again a very hot topic, and with this topic, Napasa, we can understand that US immigration system are simply following a very strict rule, and they only want genuine travelers, workers, and students, who really follow the law. And it's now like a zero tolerance approach. So everything is becoming very stricter, very, I would say, really who are going to follow the rules and laws, they are only going to follow it, and they are only going to get the chance to stay in the US. Rest, for them, I think it will be very difficult for them to stay. What do you think, Napasa?
Yes, and I think it was long overdue. It's really good to see that everybody is up on their toes and they're doing everything possible to make this happen as quick as possible. So I think this is good also at the same time. And it's a breaking development if you could check out, because, this never happened before. But yes, it's happening now because, the way many Indians think about traveling to the United States, I think that's going to change definitely. And the US Embassy has issued a really strong and direct warning, and it carries real consequences, including permanent visa bans. So I think this is a good one. And I mean, what else can I say? Illegally bringing people into the US, who would tolerate that, right? So I think this is very, very well done so far. And this is just the beginning. So there's a lot more to come. I think we'll just have to wait and watch. But before we discuss more on this topic, Sam, why don't we start off with our news updates for today?
Sure, let me go ahead with my news update first. And that is about friends. US sent 68 migrants back in first voluntary deportation flight. So the US has launched its first voluntary deportation flight, returning 68 migrants to Honduras and Colombia. And each migrant received a $1,000 debit card and the chance to apply for legal entry later on. Among them were 38 Hondurans, including 19 children and 26 Colombians. And the program, using the CBP One app, is part of a push by the Trump administration to reduce the undocumented immigrants. And Honduran officials offered cash and basic supplies to returnees. Experts says that the program may appeal only to few already planning to leave. Sorry, the U.S. warns those who stay illegally may face arrest, deportation, or even a permanent ban. So this was my news update, and Nipasa, over to you.
For sure, Sam. So my news update is 3-year low in US H-1B visa applications and what this really means for Indian professionals in the US. So yes, in a major development for skilled professionals worldwide, especially from India, the number of H-1B visa applications to the US has dropped to a 3-year low for fiscal year 2026. And according to the fresh data that is released by USCIS, applications have fallen by 25%, totaling 358,737, down from nearly 480,000 last year, and of these, only 120,141 registrations were selected in the lottery, and a 27% drop from previous cycle. So this is the lowest selection count since fiscal year 2022. And ultimately, only 85,000 H-1B visas will be issued, including the 20,000 reserved for US master's degree holders. So experts, they cite several reasons like a sharp hike in visa fees. The new H-1B registration fee is now $215, up from just $10, right? And mass layoffs in the tech industry, and the lingering impact of stringent immigration policies, such as increased documentation and social media scrutiny rooted in President Trump's era reforms. So, this was my news update. And yes, friends, do not forget to stay tuned to Immigration Talk Show because there's so much more to discuss. And if you haven't as yet subscribed, subscribe now. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. And also, please feel free to share this content with your friends and family who could benefit most. So share this, and looking forward for more of you to join us. And better even, you can also join us on call, and the number is 425-436-6335, and the access code is 988-888. So join us, friends, to tell us what your status is and what you feel about these new developments.
That's right. And with that, Napasa, I think let's start, with the very first topic of our today's webinar, because we know till now, what's going on, but we should also want to know the reason behind it. So I think it will be better if you can let us know like why this is happening and what did the US embassy announce basically and why is it so serious. So please go ahead.
Yes, absolutely, Sam. And what is happening is it's not just a policy update, it's sort of a wake up call, for thousands of hopeful travelers and families out there relying on agents to guide them abroad. And it's a time where everybody can do it themselves also, like the DIY. Of course, they will need a professional, and that would be probably just an immigration attorney to guide them in the right path, but not agents all the time. So yes, as to what the U.S. Embassy announced and why is it so serious? Well, on May 19th, 2025, the U.S. Department of State released a statement that has sent shockwaves across the Indian travel and immigration industry. That's right. They announced that visa restrictions are being imposed on individuals who run travel agencies in India and who are involved in facilitating illegal immigration. And these are not just accusations based on suspicion alone. These actions are rooted in consular investigations that connect certain agents directly with human smuggling and even trafficking networks. And this is huge, it's not a small thing, and it's not a small industry, it's a whole new industry altogether. So if you go deeper into it, only then you'll know how dirty it is. And what makes this announcement particularly alarming is that the restrictions they apply even to those who would otherwise qualify under the visa waiver program, that is, or maybe through even legitimate routes. So the move falls under section 212A3C on the US Immigration and Nationality Act, which gives the government authority to deny entry to anyone considered a threat to public policy, including people involved in helping others break immigration laws. And this marks really a clear shift back to the hardline stance first seen during President Trump's administration, and one that is now being reactivated under, well, the new Republican leadership in 2025. And the message is clear: the US is no longer uh, uh, will tolerate facilitators of illegal migration, and it is prepared to name, shame, and block those responsible. So these are very loud and clear. No more tolerance, like you said, zero tolerance, and this is what is going to happen. And I think, Sam, if you could shed more light, on how these illegal immigration is being facilitated, also, it'll be really good to share with our viewers.
Sure, and I think it's very important. And of course, we can see, when there's permanent ban, then it's really difficult to understand and digest, because permanently banned term, whenever we use, we feel that a major, like a big crime, somebody had done, a big criminal activity, maybe someone was involved in that. That is why only they are getting permanent ban thing. But friends, let's also get into the consequences and what are the dangers that you have to keep in mind, so that you don't fall into the trap, and you don't do something that will make you feel regret in your upcoming days. So when
Mhm.
someone overstays their visa or use any fake documents, it's not just a small mistake till now, because before that this it was like you were at least getting a chance, a second chance to appeal for something or to look out for something. But till now it was okay, but now it's going to be a serious legal issue in the eyes of US immigration system. And what can really happen if you are caught staying in the US after your visa has expired, then you can be forcibly removed from the country. Simply means you can be deported, and it can happen suddenly without any warning. So that is why it is paying more attention to it, that maybe you won't even be notified, or you won't be even getting a second chance for it, that you're getting deported, or what is the reason behind your deportation. And let me tell you, friends, that deportation can be very stressful, and it can really damage your reputation and also future travel plans. So please be aware of this and don't do such things that can really destroy your reputation and your future travel plans as well. Next, you could be banned for lifetime from entering the USA. Now, this is what the major topic of our today's session is, that if you overstay for more than 180 days, you may be banned from entering the US for 3 years or for 10 years, depending on how long you stayed here illegally. And adding to it, if you have overstayed in the US, and also if you have committed any crime or commit fraud, like using fake documents or were involved in some illegal activities, then you could be permanently banned from entering the US. And this ban applies to all visa types. It's not like one or two types, but to all types of visas, whether it is for study, work, tourism, or even family based green cards. Next, you might even face criminal charges. Now, let me make it very clear, friends, if you're using any false information, fake documents, or lying on visa application, then it is not just immigration fraud, but it is also a criminal offense. It is taking equal importance as a criminal, and you could be arrested. You may also face fines, jail times, or even both. And these criminal records follow you all throughout your lifetime, makes it nearly impossible for you to travel legally in the US. And any future visa application might be automatically rejected. Yes, if you guys are thinking that you'll be in jail for a few days, few months, a few years, then let me make it very clear, it's not going to happen that way. I mean, once the US finds out that you overstayed or committed any fraud or any criminal activity, your name is flagged in the system. So even years later, when you try to apply for a new visa for a job, vacation, or even for family visit, your application will likely to be rejected without even a second thought. So I think these were some of the consequences and some dangers as well, that our friends should understand what can happen with them if they are not going to follow the rules, if they are going to get involved in any criminal activity and, using fake documents, lying on visa applications, or overstaying on visa. So very tough, very strict, and of course, zero tolerance approach. So I think our friends, our viewers are wise enough to decide, what they have to do and what they don't have to do. And with that, Napasa, please go ahead and let us know more about the topic.
Sure, Sam. And if you look back into most of the news we also share and have discussed earlier, we see that it's the middlemen who really cause all this trouble and who loot all these innocent people. They act as if they give fake promises that they're going to get visas, that they're going to get into America and live their dream and everything. But it's because of these that they are falling prey, they're falling victims, they are suffering. And so I think I would really like to say it out loud to all the folks out there to really choose your path wisely and do not just trust any agent. See that everything is true legal. I don't know how will you go check that, but just see that you don't just trust agents just like that. And it's 2025 now. You must have seen, heard, and known of all these facts for so many years that they have been cheating people. You give them the documents, you give them all the money that you have, lakhs and lakhs of rupees, and then nothing. You get nothing. You also fall into trouble. You are probably inside the prison, or some of them even lost their lives. It's crazy, right? If you think about it.
Yeah.
And I would just like to say, please stay alert, open your eyes, wake up. It's 2025. You can't just fall into all that trap again. I know the more we proceed, and there are more things that are becoming so easy, and also at the same time more easy to be attacked on, whether you talk about online applications, or you talk about online payment or phone calls. Everything is so fast, you don't even need to meet people, right? Or these so-called agents. But just be alert, I would say, and it's very important that you save yourself from all of these traps.
I think
So
now these policies are coming up, I mean, I don't know whether it's exactly a law or not, but at least these are the ideas, and soon it will be implemented. So I think our friends are understanding, the laws, the rules, the policies
yeah,
that are coming every day. And these are not just like you have to give this much amount, you have to give these many documents. It's like, it's not about documents, it's not about money, it's about their reputation right now. Because being permanently banned from a country, and that too from USA, so it's a
and
huge,
these are big travel agents and
yeah,
executives who have been in this field for decades now
it does.
as travel agents, and they're going to be banned. And it's like they've come to know what they have been doing. And
Mhm.
I think all the next step is the names are going to be out, and we will know who these are. We'll just have to avoid them. But it's crazy, it's shameful that they have been doing that also. So
Of course, it
yeah,
does, and I think now it won't happen because rules are
yeah,
coming. Of course, it sounds very strict, very serious, but I think at least the immigration system will become more clean. So with
absolutely.
that, I think Napasa, if you can also let us know, how can you protect yourself? Because this is another very important part of today's webinar. How can so many immigrants, are struggling so much, facing so many difficulties? So what are the other options for them, and how illegal immigrants can also be facilitated?
Yes, absolutely. I think to avoid falling into this kind of trap, the most important step is to be vigilant. Never trust a travel agent or even these visa consultants, who promise like a guaranteed entry or a shortcut to the US. Especially if they say shortcut, it's like a red flag to you. There's no shortcut to the US. It's only the legal way. And yes, when it comes to US immigration, anyone promising one how to say, uninformed or deliberately misleading, especially when they say shortcut, because there are no shortcuts when it comes to US immigration. And always apply, for your US visas through official embassy websites or government authorized centers. And the only legitimate sources of information are platforms like www.ustraveldocs.com slash or .in, and official communications from the US embassy or consulates. So also always check whether the agency you're working with is registered with the government and has proven track record or not. And if you're uncertain, it's always best to reach out to the Indian Ministry of External Affairs or the local US embassy. And if you suspect someone is engaged in fraud, what you can do is report these sorts of agents or consultants. And by holding these agents accountable, we can actually help stop the cycle of exploitation that has caused so much suffering to so many lives out there for so many decades. It's very important. So
Absolutely.
I think, yeah.
That's right. And I think, friends, you will understand how can you protect yourself. And I think the only way, is to have a right path and to be vigilant, to subscribe to Immigration Talk Show as well, because we provide latest updates and latest news that is happening in the world of immigration. And we really trying our best to make you guys updated, to make you guys aware about everything that's happening, the changes, the implementation, the policies, everything. So go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to Immigration Talk Show. And with that, Nipasa, I can see Richard is here. So, hi, Richard, and thank you so much for your comment. Let's take Richard's comment here. He's saying India faces a potential remittance web problem as the US tightens migration policies and proposes a 5% tax on remittances. This could significantly impact the $120 billion India receives annually, with the US being the largest contributor of $32 billion. Absolutely. And we have had a show on this like few days back also on this topic, and there we have discussed everything, Richard. So if it shows like if you really want to go in depth with this topic, you can go ahead and check out our few days back episode. You'll get it, and there we have discussed everything. But anyway, thank you so much for your comment, and absolutely agree with whatever you have explained and said. And go ahead and post another comment or any other question that you have in your mind. Okay, and with that, I have another just last thing in our today's webinar, that is what this move signals. So I think it doesn't need much explanation to it. So I'll just keep it short. Like the US is getting tougher on immigration rules, and we all know it. And they want to make sure that people who come to the US should respect visa rules. As Nepasa, we have also said a lot of time that US visa is not a right; it's a privilege, and only honest travelers, students, or workers are allowed in, and those who break the rule have to face serious consequences, and not just in terms of monetary funds, but also in terms of reputation, because they have to be permanently banned from coming to the US. And this shows the US is no longer being flexible with people who overstays, commit fraud, or lie on visa application or do something that is against the policies of immigration. It's now like a zero tolerance approach. And bottom line, I would just say that friends, if you're planning to work, study, or visit the USA, then be careful, be honest, and follow all the rules. I think the world is watching closely, and US especially. So, one mistake today can really affect your entire future tomorrow. And I think that is the end of our today's webinar. And that's how we can say we can guide our friends to be careful, be honest, and do what the rule says. That's right.
Absolutely, absolutely. And remember that it's a very strong and clear message to everyone involved in immigration that whether you're a traveler or a service provider, the rules will be enforced and the consequences are real. Keep that in mind and never make any mistake. So, thank you so much for joining us. I think it was really wonderful having each one of you. And if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, subscribe now. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. And check us out. We are not just on YouTube, we are also on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and on Instagram. So, connect with us, stay connected, and stay informed. Also, if you have any questions or anything you want to know, or maybe any other topic you want us to cover, also, please reach out to us. My email address is nipa@staffingly.com, and Sam's email ID is sam@staffingly.com. And I also have a WhatsApp number where you can also reach out to me on call. And the number is 408 335 6444. So thank you once again for joining us today. But don't go anywhere. Stay tuned on Immigration Talk Show because there's so much more that you don't want to miss out. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone.